I wanted to reiterate this is that there's purpose in your pain, because this woman had been bleeding for 12 years, but there was purpose behind it because God had a plan for her.
Right.
And she had to bleed for that long to make it to that point where Jesus was walking, to have that
That's
encounter.
to show his power.
Exactly.
To show his power.
Exactly.
And then it's that bridging gap, because you
Yes.
show me your faith and I will show you my power.
Exactly. So there's purpose in your pain. So you may not understand it. You may not like it. You may not know why. And it's okay, right? Don't give up, but acknowledge and be aware. Okay, this is my situation. I'm going through something, but acknowledge it. Channel through whatever it is that you're experiencing. Talk to someone about it. Whatever your pain is, whatever your situation is, whatever your medical condition is, it's important that you understand there is purpose in your pain. Acknowledge it and be aware. And my second point that I wanted to share, and you were alluding to it, right, is it says that, what does she do? She said, okay, man, he's coming. And even though that she's been isolated, she shouldn't be around people, she didn't give up and she took action.
What it says here in verse 27, she came up in the crowd behind him.
Yes.
So there she's taking action. That's an action.
Yes.
She's taking it upon herself to come into that crowd. She's now moving. She's, you're not no longer just hearing about this person, or you're not just thinking, and you're just not sitting there and hoping. Yeah. Now you're putting action behind that hope, which translates to our faith. Yeah. We're bringing our faith to life by putting action behind it.
Well, here's the thing. Second point, faith requires risk. She was a radical risk taker. She took a risk because for her to come up behind the crowd or in the crowd just to try to touch Jesus. Right?
I mean, let's be real, because she'd have been stoned to death, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, in those times.
In those times,
she's considered unclean. And then to even want to touch Jesus himself, it would, it's something that's like, oh my God, right?
That's what I'm saying. It could have been death sentence for her.
It is. But see, and we've talked about this, right? She didn't feel sorry for herself. She took action. And I think that's my second point, because in order for you to thrive and not survive, you have to understand that there's purpose in your pain. You want to acknowledge and be aware. But the second thing is, faith requires risk, meaning you need to be a radical risk taker.
And risk equals reward.
It does. Risk equals reward. So whether it's you don't give up and you keep fighting for yourself and saying, I need you to check this, I need you to check that, because that's what I did. Hey, I need you to run this type of blood work. This is what I need you to do. Right. This, so I took control of my health and dictated this is what, and then guess what? We found out what was wrong. So it's kind of like, man, I had to be my own doctor, but that's what I feel she did. It's like, man, she heard about this man named Jesus. I've heard about him and I know what he can do. If I can just touch even the garment, right? The hem of his garment. I mean, that is faith right there.
Right.
But my third point was run to the Father, right? So healing requires humility and it takes place in community. So what did she do? She ran to the Father. She ran to Jesus because she had heard the many amazing miracles that he had done. And she thought it was a thought, but it was hope. It was faith, right? It was a seed that was planted in her to just give her that encouragement. I can't give up. I have to keep going. I have to have faith and hope that I will be healed. And what happened as soon as she touched the cloak, the bleeding immediately stopped. And it was the power that came out of Jesus. But what did Jesus tell her? He said, your faith
has healed you.
Has healed you. Your faith. So for you to have that much faith, that in itself can heal you.